friends, welcome back to Simply Food Recipes. Today we are making something seriously special, Báleše. Think soft, fluffy fried dough topped with plum butter and sweet farmer's cheese. It's cozy, traditional and honestly very hard to stop eating. Let's start with the yeast base. Into a mixing bowl add your yeast, sugar, room temperature milk and part of the flour. Now give that a really good mix until smooth. We are not making the full dough yet. This is just baking up the yeast and give it a head start. Make sure your milk is room temperature, not hot. If it's too hot, it can kill the yeast. If it's too cold, the yeast will just sit there doing nothing, and we don't have time for that. Mix everything really well so there are no lumps of flour hiding at the bottom. Scrape down the sides of the bowl if you need to. You want a smooth, slightly thick mixture, almost like a loose butter. This first mix is really important because it helps the yeast activate evenly instead of fighting through a heavy dough later. When it's smooth, cover it lightly and let it rest in one place for at least 10 minutes. If your kitchen is a bit chilly, you can place it near the stove or in the oven with just the light on. To this foamy yeast mixture, add the rest of your flour, the remaining milk, cooking oil, the egg and just a light pinch of salt. Start mixing on low speed so everything combines evenly. At first, it's going to look loose and little messy, maybe even thinner than you expect. That's completely normal. And this is important. This is not bread dough. It's not supposed to turn into firm, stiff ball. This dough stays soft. It should look smooth, slightly glossy, and definitely still sticky. Let the mixture knead for several minutes. You will notice that instead of tightening up, it becomes smoother and more elastic. The texture evens out and any small lumps disappear. Stop once or twice to scrape down the sides of the bowl so no dry flour is hiding anywhere. We want everything fully incorporated. If the dough feels sticky, that's good. Don't rush to add more flour. It might be tempting, but extra flour will make the Báleše dense instead of fluffy after frying. Think of it as a very soft and rich dough. Almost like thick elastic butter. It should hold together, but when you touch it, it still feels tender and slightly tacky. After about 6 to 8 minutes of mixing, it should look completely smooth, cohesive and silky. It won't form a tight ball. It will gently relax back into the bowl. And that's exactly the texture we are looking for before the rise. Now it's time to let the dough rise. Cover the bowl with a clean kitchen towel or plastic wrap and place it somewhere warm. We are aiming for about 1 hour total, or until the dough doubled in size. But we are not just leaving it alone the whole time. After about 20 minutes, come back and give it a quick mix. Not a full knead, just short mix to bring it back together, then let it rest again. After another 20 minutes, repeat it one more time. This helps redistribute the yeast, build structure and keeps the dough nice and airy without making it heavy. Because remember, this is soft dough, we want it light and fluffy after frying. As it rises, you will notice it's getting puffier and softer. The surface will look smooth and slightly inflated. If your kitchen is warm, it might rise faster. If it's cooler, it may need a little extra time. Don't stress about exact minutes. The dough should look visibly larger, almost double. You can gently press it with your finger. If the indentation slowly comes back but doesn't disappear immediately, it's ready. Lightly flour your clean kitchen counter or large cutting board. Now gently scrape the dough out of the bowl. You will see how soft and airy it is. That's exactly what we work for. Try not to press it down too much. We don't want to knock out all the beautiful air we just created. We love using the kitchen counter because it gives you plenty of space to work and it doesn't move around. If you are using a board, just make sure it's stable. Now, let's shape them. Start by gently working the dough a little with your hands. Not kneading, just bringing it together so it's easier to handle. Because the dough is soft and sticky, use a light dusting of flour, but don't overdo it. We'll still want it tender. First, cut the dough in half. It's much easier to work with smaller portions instead of fighting one big piece. Then take one half and cut it into smaller pieces. They don't have to be perfectly equal. Rustic is totally fine here. Take each small piece and gently roll it into a ball between your hands. This step helps smooth the surface and lightly coat it with flour so it's easier to shape. Now flatten each ball into small round discs. Not too thin. Remember, they will puff up by frying. You want them thick enough to stay soft inside. Place each one onto a floured surface and give them little space so they don't stick together. Then using your fingers, press a small dent in the center. Don't push all the way through, just enough to create a little well for the toppings later. Now let's fry them. Heat enough oil so the Báleše are about 3/4 submerged. They don't need to fully float, but they should have space to puff up. Keep the heat on medium. Too hot and they will brown too fast outside, while staying raw inside. Too low and they will absorb too much oil. If you are unsure, test one first. It should bubble gently, not aggressively. Carefully place a few into the oil, then side up. Don't overcrowd the pan. Fry until golden brown on the bottom, then flip and cook the other side until evenly golden. You will see them puff up beautifully. That soft dough is doing its job. Once both sides are nicely golden, they are ready to come out. Look at these, golden, puffed and beautiful. Once they are done, lift them out carefully and hold them above the pan for a few seconds. Let the extra oil drip back down. It doesn't seem like much, but giving them this little pause helps keep them light instead of greasy. Then transfer them onto a plate lined with paper towels. They will finish draining there while we will work on the rest. You will notice they feel soft when you press them lightly, but still have the delicate crispness on the outside. And the little dent we made earlier, still there, perfect for the toppings. In a bowl, add your farmer's cheese and start mixing it with a little milk. Add the milk slowly, just spoon at a time, because we want control over the texture. The goal is smooth and creamy, but still thick enough to sit nicely on top without running off the sides. When it starts loosening up, add the powdered sugar to taste. Mix it well until there are no lumps and the texture looks silky. If your cheese is already soft, you may barely need any milk. If it's drier, you might add a bit more. Just go gradually. Now let's assemble. Start with your plum butter. Spoon a generous amount right into the center of each Báleše. Spread it gently into that little dent we made earlier. Don't be shy here. That rich plum flavor is what makes these so special. The slight tanginess balances the sweetness perfectly. Next, add the cheese mixture on top. You can spoon it over the plum layer or place it right in the center. Either way works. Spread it gently so it covers nicely but still keep that beautiful layered look. You will see the contrast right away. Golden fried dough, deep dark plum, and creamy white cheese. It already looks amazing. And while they are still slightly warm, the toppings settle in just a bit, making everything even better. This is the kind of dessert that looks simple but tastes like something from traditional bakery. And now for the final touch, a light dusting of powdered sugar. Use a fine strainer to sprinkle it evenly over the top. It gives them that beautiful bakery style finish and just the right extra sweetness. You can serve Báleše warm or cold. Warm, they are extra soft and fluffy. Cooled, the flavors settle and blend together perfectly. If you are not eating them right away, store them without toppings. When you are ready, just warm them up and add the plum and cheese fresh. Simple, comforting, and honestly hard to stop at one. If you enjoyed this recipe, don't forget to like, share and follow for more cozy recipes. See you in the next one.